promising teenager.
She was beautiful. She had a personality to match.
Caught between two worlds.
Gangs offered the false promise of your alternate family.
And in between two young men.
We can make up, we'll go to this party.
Until a deadly betrayal.
I cannot imagine the terror she must have felt.
Nearly pushes two parents beyond the brink of all reason. My name is Aphrodite Jones. As a true crime author, I take on controversial cases. I track down the story behind the story, and I won't stop until I get the truth. It's November 1999. Carrie and Lou Ruiz set out from their Houston home, blinded by rage. With a loaded .38, their minds fixed on one goal.
I wanted her dead. I wanted her to hurt. I wanted to find that bitch, and I wanted her dead.
What could have possibly brought them to this point of no return? I've come to Houston, Texas to find out. To decipher this story of deadly betrayal and an unrelenting hunt for justice. It all began months before that revenge-driven night, in the spring of 1999. In this middle-class neighborhood, just north of Houston, home to Carrie and Lou Ruiz.
Felicia! I was trying to talk to you, but you would not talk to me. I was standing there.
And their 17-year-old daughter, Felicia.
Felicia had that type of personality that she just could light up a room. She had turned and shot from a little chubby girl to a tall, long-haired, dark-haired, beautiful young woman.
Felicia's a senior at Eisenhower High School. She's a good student and very popular.
Felicia was someone who just, if you ever needed something, she was there.
But Eisenhower High can be a tough school to navigate.
Skinny ass bitch.
And a few of the girls there have it in for Felicia, especially a girl named April.
Tired of this. Let's go on.
What the hell is your problem? Yeah.
And it's all due to Felicia's boyfriend, Casey Wild. There was an incident.
Yes. One of the girls liked Casey before Felicia came into the picture. And then when Casey started seeing Felicia, you know, they would give her a hard time about it.
Why don't you run and tell Casey then? Okay, whatever. So.
It isn't that Casey is a flirt. Girls are just drawn to him. A good-looking guy, pretty laid back, who as one of the few white kids in a largely Latino and African-American school, tends to stand out.
Hey, babe.
What's up?
Whatever this kid Casey had, boy, he was able to get girls' attention. But as the school year goes on, the rivalry with April over Casey spins out of control.
They were transferring from one bus into the other to come home. And April came up behind Felicia. Felicia, pushed her like this. She said, I just lost it. And I always told her, don't hit nobody first, but if somebody hits you, you defend yourself.
Even though April, the girl who went after Felicia, is expelled, Lou and Carrie want Felicia safely out of Eisenhower High.
Let me first start off by saying that it was her that started it. She instigated it.
We know it was not you, but we're still concerned about your safety.
Did you truly feel that she was in jeopardy at that high school?
I did. When April threatened her like that, I told Lou, I had enough. We had enough.
You have no idea what is the best for me.
With only a few months left before she would have graduated, Felicia adjusts to studying at home for her GED.
She was going along real fine, and I wanted it to be that way. I didn't want it to change.
Although Felicia no longer attends her old high school, she and boyfriend Casey Wild managed to keep their relationship going. And like any teen, she jumps at the chance to hang out with some old friends.
Hey, Felicia.
Along with some new ones.
We are getting into tonight.
Like 18-year-old Jesus Salazar.
Jesus was a good friend of my brother's.
I don't think so.
He was just very goofy. I mean, he'll find different ways to make you laugh, no matter what.
Oh, really? Y'all should get going.
Jesus is attracted to Felicia, but she's not shy about putting him off.
Seriously, no way.
Get it? Oh, she doesn't want you, bro.
Because this was a flirt, period. But Felicia, no, she didn't fall for it. No, she's not one to cheat. She was very loyal.
Plus, Jesus is already involved with Lisa Huerta.
So, baby, what's up?
19-year-old Lisa has just moved from San Antonio to live with her mom.
So, where you been?
Just chilling.
With who?
She and Jesus are an item, but she's recently become aware Jesus is also into Felicia.
You know, gossip gets to you very fast.
Do you trust me or what?
And I think Lisa was envious of Felicia.
For Felicia, between family chores, studying, and endless phone calls, summer quickly gives way to fall. And she's still seeing Casey.
I was like, oh, Felicia, why are you with him? What is it about this guy? And she was like, I don't know. I just like him.
Casey and Felicia sometimes go to a house where Jesus and his buddies hang out. Though by now, Lisa and Felicia are like oil and water.
What's up, man? How you doing? Yeah.
What's up, Casey?
She was jealous of the amazing individual that Felicia showed everyone that she was. Felicia picked up on it. She did. And I was like, just let it go. It's not worth it. People try to get to where you are. Just leave it alone.
Still, there's more going on here than meets the eye. Jesus Salazar is a member of a small chapter of the Latin Kings, a national Latino gang.
Street gangs were primarily comprised at the time of young people, not hardened criminals. In 1999, the public wasn't familiar with graffiti. They didn't understand gang wear, but kids knew about gangs, and they knew about them because these were primarily people they grew up with.
They were our friends. The group that Felicia always hung around with were just local kids from the neighborhood who just so happened to be gang members.
But it's not all that innocent. Jesus has been upping the ante with Felicia, asking her to affiliate to become a Latin queen.
Love, trust.
It's all about ethnic pride, he says, and a family to watch your back.
I don't know if it's the right thing for me.
Felicia lived in a household filled with love. She was a good student. She was a good daughter. Why in the world does she want to hang out with gang people? Then one evening, Lou spots a book Felicia's reading.
What you reading?
It's about the gang lifestyle.
She liked to get into everything. I mean, she was a smart person. And to me, I feel like she really wanted to know what this was about.
It's actually really interesting if you take a look at it. I mean, all the hand signals, they're super creative.
You don't need to be knowing this.
I automatically, being a father, trying to protect her, felt that she was reading something that she shouldn't be, because that's fire.
She was playing with fire.
She's playing with fire, yes.
But Felicia doesn't see it that way.
Hey, Jesus. What's up?
Jesus is a friend, and she feels safe.
Well, I'm trying to see if you want to come over.
Even so, he keeps working on Felicia to join the gang.
Well, you gotta join, you know, we gotta talk about that.
Gangs offered the false promise of your alternate family and kids who's getting along with their parents in high school. So it had a real allure.
And yet, the allure of it only goes so far for Felicia. She keeps telling Jesus gang life is really not her thing.
Answers now, I can't.
All right.
It's the end of October. The Halloween weekend is near.
Oh, she was happy. You know, she was enjoying herself.
Felicia's high school equivalency exam is only weeks away.
And she wanted to be an ultrasound technician when she graduated.
But there's something troubling Felicia.
I don't know why he would do something like that. There's a lot of rumors that I've been...
And Lisa's at the center of
I
it.
don't know who to believe in.
There were rumors about Casey and Lisa hooking up, you know, hanging out behind Felicia's back.
He's so sweet, though. See,
Felicia was like, he would never do that. Why would he cheat on me with that?
he's disgusting.
Felicia was like, you know what, I need to see proof. Show me proof.
On Friday morning, October 29th, just before Halloween, Casey shows up at Felicia's house.
Why do you sound like such a baby?
Soon enough, tensions over the rumors build to a blowout.
Felicia?
When Carrie comes home from work, Felicia is still in tears.
And I said, why are you crying? And she said, because he kept making fun of my voice, you know, and telling me I sound like a baby and, you know, and all this. And she said, it just made me mad.
By that night, Felicia is back to her old self. She puts in her shift at a fast food restaurant, then waits for her ride home.
Me and her dad went and picked her up from work, and it was about 11:15, and she started talking to us about going to this party.
This is the biggest Halloween party of the year, and all of my friends are going to be there.
She said, come on, let me go. I want to go. All the kids are going to be there.
From her high school?
Right.
I'm going to be the only one not there if I don't go, and that's just not going to be okay.
And I said, well, you know, she's been working hard all week long. And she said, just a couple of hours, Dad, not very long. You know, I just want to go have a little time and, you know, bring me home.
I promise I'll be home right on the dot.
I said, okay, that's fine. You can go.
Of course she wanted to go out to a party. It's Halloween. She's a teenager. It's nearly midnight when Felicia gets picked up.
Don't forget, an hour and a half.
I know, I love you.
I love you too.
There are two guys in the front seat. Felicia's mom recognizes one of them, but can't really make out the other.
She got in the car. We trusted Felicia's judgment. We trusted her. Then the car drove off into the night, and that was the last time I saw her alive.
Coming up.
Anybody that would stab somebody that many times, that's just rage.
I looked out, but I didn't see nobody in the back seat.
And you knew.
Where is my daughter?
It's the autumn of 1999. 17-year-old Felicia Ruiz is caught between Latin King gang member Jesus Salazar
I'll be back 24/7.
and her boyfriend, Casey Wilde. But on October 29th, she's back in high spirits, on her way to a late-night Halloween party, with a firm promise to her parents, Lou and Carrie, that she'll be home by 1:30 a.m. That night, Carrie can't sleep. It's long past Felicia's curfew, and not even a call.
I thought maybe she'd gotten herself in a predicament that she couldn't get out of.
Like what kind of predicament?
I don't know. Maybe something might have went wrong at the party.
When Lou leaves for work at 5 a.m., he finds Carrie is still up, waiting.
I figured Felicia went to this party and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to have me a good time. If I get in trouble when I get home the next day, then I'm going to get in trouble.
Man, she's getting ready to graduate, whatever.
You know, she's decided she's going to have a good time, and that was it.
But Carrie is beside herself.
Hi.
This isn't like Felicia.
Felicia's mom? I was wondering.
Were you thinking maybe these girls who were the tough girls?
Yeah, we thought about that too. We thought maybe somebody had hurt her.
If you hear from her, if you see.
Now, are you panicked at this point?
At this point, I'm crazy out of my mind. Oh, I hadn't slept.
Yes, this is Carrie again. I was just hoping that maybe you'd heard from Felicia. Okay, thank you.
So when Lou walked in the door at 1, the first thing he said to me was, "She home?" I said, "No." And he said, "Call missing persons." So we did.
I'd like to file a report.
Meanwhile, just 3 miles away, Houston Police Detective Steve Strotter and his partner Reuben Anderson are responding to a call.
We found the female face down. This was a child, and no homicide detective likes investigating the death of a child.
The next day, the detectives study the medical report for clues. This girl's jaw is broken, her throat cut, her frail body stabbed 26 times. Some wounds going so deep, the knife cut into the ground.
Anybody that would stab somebody that many times, that's just rage and hate.
What could this girl have possibly have done to have brought on this brutality? Detective Strotter checks with missing persons to see if anyone has reported their daughter missing.
They had a female, similar description that had been reported missing.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
The match seems certain, right down to the tattoo on the victim's back.
All right, thank you.
A large rose with her name, Felicia.
When you had to go tell Carrie and Lou that their daughter was murdered,
There's no easy way to do that. There's no easy way, no protocol on how to do that.
I looked out and I seen him, but I didn't see nobody in the back seat.
and you knew.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Where's Felicia? Where's my daughter?
I knew it. I knew Felicia wasn't alive anymore. Our world came to an end at that moment.
We found your daughter dead this morning.
It was a nightmare.
I need to see her. I need to see her right now. Where is my daughter?
I couldn't cope, couldn't comprehend anything that was going around me. You know, I kept telling the detectives, please go get her and bring her home. Just go get her and bring her home.
I'm so sorry.
And, you know, I wanted her home.
Ma'am, I need to ask you some questions. When was the last time you saw
Despite Lou and Carrie's overwhelming grief, Detective Strotter has a job to do.
Somebody came to pick her up for a party. An hour and a half.
Lou and Carrie tell him about Felicia getting a ride to a party and seeing two males in the car. Carrie could only make out one of them.
She explained to us that her daughter had been picked up by a guy named Jesus. They call him Trouble.
So that was his nickname? Trouble.
Yes.
That
And-
says something.
Yes, we knew that was the last person that she was known to be with.
Is there anything else you can think of?
The detectives press on for other leads. Carrie brings up Felicia's boyfriend, Casey, and how he and Felicia had gotten into a big fight the day of the murder. A fight that began with Casey inviting her to go to a party.
And I said, well, why did he want you to go to this party so bad? What is about this party? She said, I don't know. She said, all the kids are going to be there.
There was a girl she had a fight with at school.
And then Lou brings up April, the girl who'd threatened Felicia at school. They'd had a knockdown fight, and April had been expelled.
So we had something to work with, and that helped us get the investigation started.
As detectives began working the case, news of the horrific murder spreads. At Lou and Carrie's home, with friends and family gathered, Carrie is absolutely stunned to see the person she believes killed Felicia. Jesus Salazar.
And I just hit him full force in the chest. I hit him.
You slammed him.
I slammed him.
Yeah, he's got his thugs around here, and no telling what these guys got in their pockets, because you don't know.
Coming up,
I know this guy. He wouldn't do that.
Why is he defending Jesus?
I didn't like him from the beginning. I didn't trust him, and that proves me right.
Call the police.
a day of mourning breaks out in high drama as Felicia Ruiz's mother, Carrie, attacks Jesus Salazar.
You killed her! I didn't kill your daughter!
Despite his denials, Carrie is convinced Jesus killed Felicia.
Call the police. Look, no, whoa. I know this guy. He wouldn't do that.
Felicia's boyfriend, Casey, had stopped by earlier, and suddenly he's by Jesus' side, defending him.
He was a friend.
He killed
Why
her!
is he defending Jesus? I thought Casey was in love with her. And then 2 days later, he's out in your driveway defending Jesus Salazar.
I didn't like him from the beginning, and I didn't trust him, and that proves me right.
You get out of here.
Furious at Casey for sticking up for Jesus, and unsure whether or not he had a role in Felicia's murder, Lou wants him gone.
Call the police now.
Meantime, the group surrounds Jesus to hold him there for police.
And they took Jesus downtown to homicide.
That afternoon, Detective Anderson interviews Jesus. He admits he knows Felicia, but flatly denies he came to pick her up for any party.
I was never with her that night.
He's cool as a cucumber in the questioning with police.
He is. The police did notice one interesting thing, and that was that his hands were swollen and appeared to have some cuts on them.
Got a nice bruise there, son. What did you have? Yeah, I was out working.
Jesus brushes it off, an accident at work. He continues to deny having anything to do with killing Felicia.
Nah, bro. I wasn't at Felicia's house.
By day's end, despite Detective Anderson's strong suspicions, he's got no evidence for an arrest. He takes a few photos of Jesus, and Jesus walks. The next day, detectives go to Eisenhower High to question Casey.
We had gotten a tip that he had been at school telling about how Felicia had died.
By then, detectives have discovered that Casey has a reputation as a gang wannabe, and he's been angling to join Jesus' chapter of the Latin Kings. What does that tell you about that kind of a kid?
He's a wannabe, so he may be willing to do anything they want him to do in order to join the gang. So that makes him more dangerous.
No, I wouldn't have anything to do with that. I love Felicia.
What was it that Casey knew specifically that led you to believe that he had a closeness with this killing?
That she had been stabbed.
The way she was stabbed? No, that was brutal. I wouldn't.
That was something you hadn't released
We
to the
hadn't
press?
released that to nobody. Either the killer would know that, or somebody who had been around the killer.
Detectives wonder, could Casey have killed Felicia in some kind of gang initiation? It's 4 days after the murder, and detectives have ruled out April, the classmate who Felicia had fought with, as a suspect. Now they have their eyes firmly trained on Jesus Salazar and Felicia's boyfriend, Casey Wilde. Across town, Lou and Carrie, consumed by grief and still waiting for justice to be done, brace themselves to view Felicia's body for the first time. The funeral director tells them it took so long to prepare her because there were just so many wounds.
So we're having trouble from the embalming fluid. It keeps leaking out, you know.
They told you that?
Yes, they said that she was leaking too bad, and it wouldn't be a good idea for us to go see her. I mean, you know.
It was hard. Carrie. Oh my God. Lou and Carrie have no idea someone is waiting for them outside. It's Lisa Huerta, Jesus' girlfriend. Were you worried at the funeral home?
Yeah, we were worried that the gangs might come by. Somebody that had killed her might come by and try something. We didn't know. And when I came out...
Hey, it looks like your daughter's famous now.
And Lisa had Felicia's obituary sticking it out the window and laughing.
I can't imagine the rage that you had to be feeling at that moment.
Rage is not even a word to describe it.
Waving an obituary and laughing at the mom? That afternoon, Detectives Anderson and Strotter pay a visit to Lisa at her home.
I don't know anything.
What about Lisa? What was her demeanor?
She appeared to be a little cocky to us at first. And basically she told us that she was dating Jesus, but she had no knowledge of the murder or anything like that.
They asked Lisa to come down to the station to talk. But on the way, they make a small detour and don't say a word to Lisa about it.
What is this? Where are you guys bringing me to?
We went to the original scene.
To the crime scene?
Yes, we did. And we all got out of the car.
What is this? Why did y'all bring me here? I don't want to be here.
She collapses at the field? What does she know?
We never told her that's the field where Felicia died. We never told her that.
But once at the station, Lisa hangs tough. After all, the news had reported that Felicia was killed in a field. So she claims that she was upset just imagining it.
Difficult to think that somebody was actually killed in that area, that's all. It was just an emotional thing.
We did not believe her, but again, that's still no reason to arrest anybody at that point.
And that includes Casey Wilde.
Let's just go to this party later.
Police conclude that the party Casey insisted Felicia should go to was not the same one mentioned by Jesus. Also, it turns out, Casey only seemed to know things he shouldn't have.
The way she was stabbed?
Things he'd overheard from his gang friends.
He's picking up what's being said.
So you cleared him?
Yes.
That leaves leaves Jesus and his girlfriend Lisa at the top of the list. But detectives still have no evidence or murder weapon, and people seem too afraid of retaliation to step forward. Then it gets worse.
The next thing we knew was we could not get a hold of Lisa. We could not get a hold of Jesus.
These two have packed up and they're on the run.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
What do you mean they're gone? I can't believe this is happening. How could you let this happen?
That devastating news pushes Carrie right over the edge. You took your gun.
I did.
And what did your husband say?
He was crazy out of his mind, too.
I'm gonna kill that bitch.
Let's go.
We were able to find where the grandmother lived. I said, let's go to San Antonio. Let's go find Lisa. I wanted her to hurt. I wanted her to suffer like Felicia had suffered. I wanted her dead.
Coming up.
The way I felt, just an eye for an eye.
Everyone's trying to impress each other.
Just like this.
The lead suspects in Felicia Ruiz's murder, Jesus Salazar and Lisa Huerta, have fled Houston. And Felicia's parents, Lou and Carrie, lined with anger, go on the hunt.
The way I felt, just an eye for an eye.
They drive to San Antonio, where Lisa may be hiding with relatives. So what was your plan?
I wanted to find that bitch, and I wanted her dead.
And in your mind, if you had to do that and pay a price for that, you were willing?
I was willing. At that point, I didn't care. I didn't care.
They stake out places Lisa could be, waiting for their chance.
We didn't find her, and I guess it was God's will. But thank God that we didn't, because, I would have been under the jail, and she would have been dead.
And detectives, now joined by the FBI, have no better luck finding Lisa or Jesus. For nearly 2 weeks, the investigation has gone nowhere. Then, one phone call changes everything.
A witness came forward that wanted to give us information concerning the case. He was kind of reluctant and he was afraid. We agreed to meet him at a neutral location.
The witness tells detectives about some disturbing things he heard from a guy named Jay Ferrel.
And during the interview, he named Jesus Lisa, and that Jay Ferrel was a part of it as far as just being a witness but not participating in the murder.
Detectives quickly bring 18-year-old Jay Ferrel in for questioning, and it doesn't take much time to get him to open up. He admits he was with Jesus and Lisa that night.
Yeah, I was there, but I just didn't do anything. Okay, give me details, son.
Jay says he owed Jesus a favor. So he helped get Jesus a car to pick up Felicia. Then he and Lisa went to this field, and about 30 minutes later, Jesus and Felicia arrived. Jay says Lisa and Jesus just went crazy, stabbing Felicia over and over. He doesn't know why they did it, but he says he saw it all. Why would Jay Ferrel, who doesn't even know this girl Felicia, become involved?
I suspect that Jay admired Jesus, maybe feared him to some extent.
Can you testify to both? Yeah.
Jay Ferrel nervously agrees to testify against Jesus and Lisa. As a vital eyewitness who police believe did not attack Felicia, they release Jay without charges. Then they immediately issue arrest warrants for Lisa and Jesus on felony murder charges.
He's very violent, no regard for human life. So our main concern was to get him into custody pretty quick.
But it doesn't go that way. Weeks pass and the fugitives are still on the run. And then, 2 months after the murder, the unexpected happens. Lisa calls in via an attorney. She wants to make a deal. What made Lisa Huerta decide to turn herself in? Do you think it was some part of remorse or some...
No, I don't think it's any remorse. I think it's just you had no place to go.
Lisa tells authorities how just a few weeks after the murder, Jesus abandoned her in Miami. Jesus! Alone and facing possible life in prison, Lisa ultimately decides to trade information for leniency. It takes months to negotiate the deal.
And Part of the deal that we worked out was that she would be interviewed about the crime and about the whereabouts of Jesus Salazar.
I'd like to know what happened that night.
He told her that there was some party, but there wasn't. We met
Lisa's chilling testimony makes it clear this wasn't just some heat-of-the-moment attack. It was a planned, calculated, cold-blooded murder.
We were in the room and...
That Friday before Halloween, Lisa says she rented a room at a local motel and was there all day with Jesus and Jay Ferrel.
There was discussion while they were there about committing the crime. Murdering Felicia Ruiz. They had the weapons provided by Lisa. She had produced a knife and a baseball bat that was apparently not used.
I thought he was the tough guy, but Lisa is the one who brought the weapon? Lisa recounts how Jesus was angry at Felicia. He felt Felicia had disrespected him, especially by refusing to join his gang.
Disrespecting me? Disrespecting the gang.
It's an upside-down set of values that doesn't make sense to a mature, socialized person. But in the gang culture, respect is the #1 virtue. And disrespect is the leading cause of death. At least it was in 1999.
According to Lisa, Jay Ferrel, and the police record, Jesus said the fastest way to kill someone is to just go for the throat.
Just cut it with the throat. Just like
He even
this.
demonstrated how to do it. Everyone's trying to impress each other.
Right. Not a one of them backed out. They went forward with it.
Hey, what's up, Jesus?
That night, Felicia had no idea she was in any danger. Far from it. So Felicia assures her mother, "Don't worry, Mom, it's a party, it's all good." She
Yes, she was excited. She was going off to a party.
with a friend.
Yes,
With a good
absolutely.
He played her, he tricked her all the way till the end of her day. She believed him.
Turns out, there was no party. Coming up. How does somebody flee the country?
It's like going from Houston to Sugar Land. They just go.
With all the technology, they can't find one punk and bring him out of Venezuela.
In a chilling confession, Lisa Huerta tells authorities how her boyfriend, Jesus Salazar, picked up Felicia Ruiz for what she thought was a big party.
Met up at some field outside.
Jesus told her they were taking a shortcut to get there. I can imagine Felicia at first trusting Jesus, then her doubts rising. Where's the party? There's no music. There's no sound. And then Lisa and Jay Ferrel appear. I get a chill in my spine just thinking about that moment when she realizes there's no party.
I cannot imagine the terror she must have felt. That's when he cold-cocked her and knocked her to the ground.
Lisa testifies that she made the first cut, plunging the knife into Felicia's neck. She panicked, and that's when Jesus allegedly took the blade. 26 stab wounds?
26 stab wounds to the chest and neck area and back area.
And Lisa says Jay Ferrel was not a passive bystander, as he told detectives, but an active participant, holding Felicia down. These people acted like animals. They slaughtered her.
That's a good way to describe it.
She took away her future. She took away everything she lived for. She took away my daughter, our life, everything that we wanted. I mean.
So, based on her testimony, Lisa Huerta gets her deal. She pleads guilty to first-degree murder and is sentenced to 30 years. As for Jay Ferrel, Lisa's confession and new evidence turned him from witness into an accomplice to murder. Arrested, tried, and found guilty of first-degree murder, Jay Ferrel is sentenced to 20 years in prison.
When everybody was in jail, our main concern at that point was to catch up to Jesus. You know, here's a guy that's very violent. It's possible that he could do the same thing again to somebody else's daughter.
From Lisa's testimony, investigators also now know what caused Lisa and Jesus to split up, and it has to do with Jesus' father.
Apparently the father was able to get Jesus out of Miami, and for what we understand, Venezuela.
Jesus' father, at that time he worked for PDVSA, which is Chavez's oil company, and he was pretty high up in the oil company.
See?
Federal authorities say that when Salazar Sr. hears of his son's troubles, he makes plans to help his son escape. He knows that the Venezuelan government does not enforce extradition of its citizens, even for murder. And Jesus was born in Venezuela. A citizen, he moved away at age 4. Now, all he has to do is get back to Venezuela. Pretty good place to hide, especially if you're Venezuelan, because no one is sending you back. Though Jesus' father was never criminally charged for helping his son, according to Lisa and the FBI, barely 2 weeks after the murder, Jesus' father takes the company jet to pick Jesus up in Miami. And then he sees Lisa.
She was an American citizen. He wouldn't let her go because it would bring the authorities to her. So he said no.
I gotta go.
The FBI says Salazar Sr. and his son Jesus then slip away into the safe haven of Venezuela. So wait a minute, how does that work? How does somebody flee the country?
Just like going from Houston to Sugar Land. They just go.
But Felicia's parents, Carrie and Lou, don't accept that. For years, they mount a fight to get Jesus back. They contact law enforcement officials, politicians, even journalists in Venezuela.
With all the technology, with all the stuff that the government has, and they can't find one punk and bring him out of Venezuela because of a damn treaty, because of a no extradition treaty.
Then in 2006, the Ruizes find new hope. After 6 years of effort, Carrie gets the attention of the Venezuelan ambassador.
So he said that they will let us extradite if we stuck to a stipulation of 30 years, because that's the most you can get for murder in Venezuela.
Their hopes soar, but soon crash when they learn that the Harris County DA won't make the deal. He explains that accepting their 30-year limit on the sentence sets a bad precedent. What happened when you heard that?
We got very upset. I said, why are you doing this? You know, we'd rather him rot in a Texas prison than be free and live his life.
But it's not to be. And currently, any offers to extradite Jesus seem to be off the table.
I still think that we're going to get Jesus back eventually.
You do?
I do. We're going to have to get lucky.
Or he's going to have to get stupid.
Right.
In the murder of this innocent girl, the one question I keep coming back to is why. Police say Jesus felt disrespected by Felicia when she wouldn't join his gang.
She always telling you no, huh?
Others say Lisa had it in for Felicia, and she kept pushing Jesus on.
I can't figure it out. I mean, you know, just because one was disrespected and the other one was jealous and the other one owed a favor to somebody.
The whole thing
Yeah,
just makes no sense.
No sense at all.
Everywhere you look in their house, there is Felicia. The killers may have taken her away physically, but they can never take away Felicia's spirit.
I don't believe she's at peace. I think she's not going to be at peace until all of her killers are caught and answer for what they did to her.
What stands out about Carrie and Lou Ruiz is that they will never give up seeking justice for their daughter. It's been 15 years, and if it takes another 15, which I hope it doesn't, they'll get Salazar.
Yes, sir.
We're not going to give up. We're going to find this guy, and this guy's going to come to justice. He's going to pay for what he does. It's hard. It's not easy.
Here in the field where Felicia died, it makes me shudder to think of her on that night. This girl so full of possibilities and so loved, savagely executed.